Are you currently thinking of buying a used caravan but don't quite know where to start inspecting it, making sure it's got no problems? Well, do you know what? This video is really going to help, and it comes with one of these. This is the used caravan inspection checklist that I've written. So I'm going to go through it now and show you how this can be used to get the best caravan that you can find. Let's get into it. So, one of the most important things when you're going to look at a caravan for sale is to actually ask the right questions before you go. And these are super important because they'll tell you the things that you need to bring with you for the inspection. So, for example, one of the key questions is, where will the caravan be when I come and look at it? If it's parked hard up against a wall, then there's a whole panel of the caravan that you're not going to be able to easily inspect. And depending on which side it is, you may struggle to test water, gas and other things as well. Does the caravan have a 12-volt battery fitted, and will it be charged? If it hasn't, you're going to struggle to check the 12-volt electrical system works, and there's lots of components linked to that you're not going to be able to test either. Will I be able to test the caravan's 240-volt electricity supply using a mains hookup? Well, again, if the caravan's in a storage yard or somewhere where power's not easily available, then again, you're not going to get a full picture of what this caravan's really like, and it could be hiding something. Does the caravan currently have a gas bottle with gas that I can use to test the gas appliances? Now, when we bought this caravan, we couldn't test the gas appliances and we got stung. The gas heater wasn't functioning correctly, the gas water heater wasn't functioning correctly. So again, find these things out before you go. Is it possible to test the water system on the caravan? Well, again, if the water system has a fault, then you need to know about it before you buy. Find out from the person selling, is it just because of there being a lack of water on site, or is it because of some other reason? You can take water with you. I mean, gosh, just a bucket with water in that you can put the pump into is enough. Has the caravan ever been damaged as a result of an accident? And if it has, who repaired it? Really critical question. The reason why I like to ask this before going to look at a caravan for sale is, if they say no, it's never been involved in an accident, but then upon my inspection I find damage that is accident related damage, it kind of throws the seller into question a little bit. If the seller on the telephone says, yeah, it was in an accident in 2010 and it was repaired by WMP of whatever, I just made WMP up, it gives you a bit of, you can look that company up, it gives you a bit more reassurance that the job was done correctly. Check out what towing electrics are on the caravan at present. Is it the newer style 13-pin plug, or is it the older style pair of 7-pin plugs? You'll want to test the towing electric setup. So not just the light bars, but whether the fridge and other things come on as well. So you'll need to know for your vehicle when you bring it, whether you need to have an adapter or not. So super important question. It also tells you how much that person knows about their own caravan. If they don't know such a simple question, it's kind of a bit worrying. I always find this next question quite an interesting one. What's the reason for sale? Why are you selling it? Obviously, if it's a dealership, just forget about it because they're a dealership. But if it's a private seller, ask them why. And sometimes, just by allowing the seller to talk, they'll either reveal something that's quite important to know, or it'll give you that confidence that the sale's quite genuine or something else. So I just find it a very interesting question to ask. When was the caravan last serviced and who serviced it? Now, for older caravans like this one, which was like a 1999, clearly, it's probably not going to be serviced every year. We never service it with an engineer. But if it's a newer caravan that you're looking at, say it's under, I don't know, definitely under 5 years of age, I would probably expect it to have been serviced annually by a qualified person. If nothing else, to maintain the manufacturer's warranty. So ask them for that paperwork, ask if you can see it as part of the inspection. It can be really telling about the condition of the caravan you're buying. Is the caravan CRIS registered? Now, CRIS is a scheme whereby caravan ownership is registered on a central database. Now, again, for caravans like the one we own, it was in 1999, do you know what, the CRIS registration is not going to be up to date, and because of the price point of this caravan, it wasn't worth doing. However, if you're looking at parting with a significant sum of money, CRIS registration is super important, and we'll come on to that in more detail later in the video. So this next question is also more important for your towing vehicle. What is the maximum technically permissible laden mass of the caravan? Just in case the seller has gotten this wrong on the advert, now is your chance to ask them again just to confirm it. There's no point in you getting excited, going to view a caravan, falling in love with it, and then finding out that your tow car or your license isn't able to tow that caravan safely or legally. So get them to confirm what the MTPLM is before you get there. Okay, so the caravan is past the pre-visit inspection questions. You're quite happy with the answers on the telephone that the seller gave you, and you've committed to go out and have a look. So for the purposes of today's video, we're going to be using a Bailey Ranger. It's a 2007 or 2008 model for the example. It is a caravan that is currently for sale here on the site for £4,500. So let's have a look at it. So starting from the outside, what we're going to do is we're going to spend quite a bit of time just looking at the front panel. Does it look straight? Are there any obvious signs of misaligned panels or windows that just don't look quite right? Are there any signs of rust staining down the outside of the caravan which could indicate water coming through the caravan, corroding screws and then leaching back out onto the outer surfaces? Check the lower corners of the front of the caravans. These are quite susceptible to damage by jackknifing. Low speed, but when you reverse, coming around tight and jackknifing on the back of the car. Any evidence of damage or cracks in any of the front panel that you can see or feel for? Get your hands underneath and feel the gap between the front panel and the wooden floor underneath. Can you feel whether there's been any separation of the floor and the front panel? Look above the windows. Is there a piece of trim there, and does it look to be in good condition? Moving on to the windows more specifically, do the caravan windows match in colour, tint and manufacture? Can you see any cracks or hazing or lines on the perspex that could indicate some damage? Can you see any condensation on the windows, even if it might be trapped between the two panes, if that's a feature of that model? Always look inside the hatch of the caravan. Is it clean and tidy, and most importantly, is it dry? Does it contain a spare wheel in the hatch, or is that somewhere else in the caravan? Is the corner steady winder handle present, or is it something that you'll need to buy? Look at the rubber gas hose. If the gas cylinders are stored in the front hatch, do they look new or are they cracked and perished? Inspect around all the seams and joins within the hatch. Do they line up neatly, or are some gaps wider than others? Just have a good look around. Does it look like it's consistent all the way around the inside of the hatch? Does the hatch lock, and is there a key for it? Test the grab handles on the front of the caravan. Do they feel secure, or are they a bit loose? Now bring your attention down to the A-frame area, the front of the caravan where the towing coupling is. Operate the hitching handle of the towing coupling. Does it operate smoothly, or does it feel a bit strange to you? If it's an Alco hitch, is it dry inside the cup? Because these are a dry hitch system. Alternatively, if it's a traditional hitch, has it been greased recently inside the cup? Is the rubber boot that goes at the end of the towing coupling and onto the shaft, is it present? Is it in good condition? And is it still being held in place by some sort of fastening? If it's loose, or if it's ripped or torn, you may find that your braking system may not work as it was intended. Does the coupling come with some sort of hitch lock? If it does, is it easy to fasten and unfasten? Inspect the towing electrics cables as far as you can reach with your hands. Look carefully along the outer sheath of the cable. Is it intact, or are there any signs of abrasion? Can you possibly see any wires exposed? Next, look at the plugs and turn them around and inspect them carefully. Do they feel secure on the ends of the wires? Can you see any road grazing on the actual plug plastics themselves? Do they look generally to be in good condition, or do they need replacing? Now pay attention to the handbrake. If it's safe to do so, check the operation of the handbrake. Is it securely held when in the upright position? Again, if it's safe to do so, with the caravan handbrake applied, give the caravan a shove. Does the caravan move, or does the handbrake hold the caravan in place? Now look at the breakaway cable and carabiner. Are they present? What is their condition? Are there any frayed wires or other damage that you can see? Check the operation of the little carabiner on the end. Does it open and close freely, or is it stiff or broken? Now look at the jockey wheel. You can see with this caravan a jockey wheel isn't present. However, what you would normally check for is, does the jockey wheel stand at a perfect right angle to the caravan? Use the jockey wheel to raise and lower the nose of the caravan. Is it able to do this easily, or do you find there's a lot of resistance? Is the rubber or plastic handle on the top of the jockey wheel present, or is it missing? What is the condition of the jockey wheel tyre? Is it worn or perished? Now we're going to look down the left hand side of the caravan. Can you see any irregularities in the panels that are fitting or any lines that you can see? Can you see any dings, dents or punctures in the aluminium body? Are the graphics or decals in good condition? Look at the windows. Like at the front, do the caravan windows match in manufacturer, tint, colour and design? Any cracks or hazing? Any condensation? Look along the upper awning rail. Inspect the length of the awning rail. Is it uniform in style all the way around, or can you see any obvious signs of bending? Is the mastic underneath the rail in good condition, or is it dry, cracked and perished? Lower awning rail. Inspect the lower awning rail just like how you've inspected the upper awning rail. Plastic grills, flaps, vents and luaves. Are there any plastic vents, grills or luaves on the outside of the caravan? If so, what is their condition? Are there any missing? Replacements can be difficult to find, especially for older caravans. Lockers. Do they open, close and lock with the same key? If not, why not? The caravan door. If fitted to this side of the caravan, does it appear to be in line with its frame? Are the gaps around the frame consistent? Does it open and close easily? Does it lock and unlock with a key? Is the awning light above the caravan door in good condition? Reflectors. If present, what is their condition? Tyres. Examine the tyres carefully. Can you see any evidence of dryness or cracking, especially on the side walls? Do the tyres have sufficient tread depth to be legally used on UK roads? Don't forget you can use the 20p coin trick to find out. How old are the tyres? On the side wall of the tyres, you will find a 4-digit tyre age code, which is usually located in a little window. The first 2 digits of the code represent the week of production during the year, from 1 to 52, while the second 2 digits represent the year of manufacture. If more than 3 years old, be especially careful and check them over well. For example, on this caravan, the tyre code was 1415. This means that the tyres were manufactured in week 14 of the year 2015. Okay, next we go onto the right hand side of the caravan. Now, going down the right hand side of the caravan, the inspection protocol on the checklist is pretty much the same as going down the left hand side. Don't worry, I know there's more things on this side potentially, but we'll come and investigate those in more detail later. Okay, let's check out the rear panel of this caravan. So again, we do our window checks, making sure there's no grazing or cracks and that there's no condensation. The lower corners. Take extra care to inspect the lower corners of the back of the caravan. The rear corners at the bottom are especially prone to reversing prangs, so get your hand underneath the caravan and have a good feel. If there's any sign of repair having been done that you don't already know about, question the seller about it. Have a good feel all the way around, make sure that the floor lines up to the outer panel at the back of the caravan. The rear light clusters. What is their condition? Are the rear lenses clean, clear and free from cracks? A funny one this one, but what is the condition of the screw heads that hold the rear lenses in place? Sometimes when they get really rusty, they can be a bit of a pig to remove. Number plate board. Is this area clean? How have the previous number plates been fitted? If they've been fitted with screws, has any damage been done? Is the number plate light present, clear and free from damage? Grab handles. Are they secure or are they loose? Reflectors. If they're present, what is their condition? Okay, it's time to get down on the ground with your torch. So, lying on the ground, looking up at the caravan, look at the floor. What's the condition of the floor like? Can you see any obvious cracks, splits or evidence of repairs having been carried out? The waste pipes. Do the waste pipes appear to be in good condition? Or can you see any kinks or twists? The copper gas pipework. Follow the pipework as best you can from rear to the front or from the front to rear, depending on how your caravan is configured. Can you see any worrying kinks or corrosion? Corner steadies, number 1. Has the large threaded piece been greased recently? If it's all rusty, then it might be a little bit difficult to get the leg up and down. Brake cabling or brake bar, depending on what system you have fitted. Have a look from the handbrake all the way to the wheels. You will see some sort of brake system to connect the two. What's the condition? If it's a cable, does it look like it's been adjusted well and that it is parallel to the floor of the caravan, or is it sagging? Corner steadies, 2. When no longer underneath the caravan, Wind each corner steady up and down to check its operation. Do they operate smoothly or are they a bit stiff? If you're new to caravanning or you've never caravaned before, it's always a good idea to ask the seller to wind them back down so that they can apply the correct pressure. Exterior transit lights and their operation. Now, you'll have one or two systems on the caravan you're looking to buy. You'll either have a twin 7-plug system or a single 13-plug system. You will know which system the caravan that you're looking at will have because you will have found out on the telephone before coming out to visit. Back your vehicle up to the caravan and make the connection. You want to test the following lights. Stop lamps, left-hand indicator, right-hand indicator, side lights rear, fog lights where fitted, reversing lights where fitted, side marker lights where fitted. If you're able to make the connection for the secondary electronics when in transit, do test the operation of the fridge on 12 volt. Okay, we're moving inside the caravan now and we're going to check out the 12 volt electricity consuming appliances. Ask the seller to connect a 12 volt electricity supply only, a 12 volt water pump and a cylinder of gas. The first thing we're going to test is the 12 volt lighting. All caravans have two lighting systems, a 12 volt and a 240 volt. Ask the seller to identify all of the 12 volt lighting within the caravan and check that they work. Next, move on to the 12 volt gas appliances. Now you might think that sounds a bit strange, a 12 volt gas appliance, but hang on. Some gas appliances require a 12 volt electrical supply to run the sparker. So, check the sparker on the cooker, including the oven, and the gas heater. Don't forget the fridge, sometimes they have an electronic ignition system as well. The 12 volt water pump. Check the pump pulls water through to each tap within the caravan, and don't forget to check each and every tap on both the hot and cold sides. 12 volt sockets. If you're planning on using the 12 volt sockets, and they're an important feature for you in your caravan, you may wish to test their output using a multimeter. The blown air system. Ask the seller to demonstrate the blown air system working on 12 volt. Note it won't produce any heat on 12 volt, but the fan should turn, which would distribute warm air from the gas heater. Hot water system 1. Ask the seller to operate the hot water system on 12 volt only. Now, what this means is that the water is not being heated by 12 volt. The water is being heated by gas, but the ignition system relies on a 12 volt electrical supply. What you should hear outside when the system is active is a tick 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 tick, which is the gas igniting. A bit like this. If you don't hear this noise, put your hand over the outlet of the burner on the outside of the caravan and you should feel warm air rising. That's a sign that it's ignited. Okay, staying inside, we're going to check out the 240 volt electrical appliances. Ask the seller to connect a 240 volt supply to the caravan using an electrical hookup cable. Also, ask the seller to switch the water heater over from gas to 240 volts. So ask the seller to identify all the 240 volt lights in the caravan and you should test whether they work or not. Hot water system 2. Make sure that the seller has switched over the hot water system from gas to electric and give it 10 minutes or so to allow the system to warm up. After that, come back and test it. Electric heating system. Ask the seller to demonstrate to you the electric hot blown air system working on the caravan or whatever heating electric system that is fitted. Also ask them to show you how to adjust the thermostatic temperature within the caravan where fitted. The fridge. Ask the seller to show you the fridge operating on 240 volt power. The only test that you can do for this is to look to see whether some sort of switch illuminates. It'll take too long for the fridge to cool down, though you could ask the seller to put it on for you beforehand. It's up to you. The cooker. Some newer caravans feature a single electrical hot plate. If so, in the caravan that you're inspecting, switch it on and see whether it gets hot. Electrical outlets. Ask the seller to show you where each of the electrical sockets are located. For each one, insert your socket tester and look for a favourable result. Okay, staying inside, we're now moving on to gas consuming appliances. Okay, for your cooker, check that all of the gas burner rings light and stay lit. Check the grill, does that light evenly? Check the oven, does that light and stay lit? For the gas heating, ask the seller to demonstrate how this works to you. If you've not already tested the hot water system before, in the caravan you're looking at, now's the time to do it. Okay, so I'm going to check out the soft furnishings in the caravan now. Cushions. Sit on each cushion, turn them over, check them. Are they comfortable? Are there any rips or tears or strange stains? Curtains, blinds and screens. For each window, check the operation of the curtains in the track. Also, check the operation of the blackout blinds and insect screens where fitted. Don't forget to check the entrance door, as there may be an insect screen across there. Carpets or flooring. Check for any stains, rips, tears or damage. Inside checks, storage, overhead cupboards. Open all overhead cupboards slowly, poking your nose inside and smelling deeply as you open them. Use your nose and eyes to detect and look for signs of damp. Use your torch, shine it in there. Are the inside cupboards clean? Cupboards containing food crumbs or debris can indicate an overall lack of care for the caravan. Are any screws within those cupboards excessively corroded? If so, this could be an indicator of damp, or it could just show that there's been condensation inside the caravan. Lower storage areas. Lift sofa cushions or raise bed mattress slowly, again poking your nose inside as you do. Using your torch, scan the walls for any signs of blistering or bubbling of the wallpaper or wall covering. Press any suspicious areas with your fingers. If they feel spongy, it could be a sign of damp. Okay, let's check out the bathroom. Bathroom sink. Check for cracks, particularly around the plug hole. Look in the cupboard underneath the sink for any signs of water damage. Shower tray and walls. Again, check for cracks, particularly around the plug hole. Examine the walls. Do they look in good condition? Look at where the shower walls meet the shower tray. Can you see any evidence of black mold growth? Toilet operation and cassette. Examine the toilet. Operate the blade and look into the toilet bowl to see whether the blade is operating. Outside, look in the cabinet and check to make sure that the cassette is present. If you're looking at a toilet that is an electric flushing model, it's always a good idea to ask the seller for a small amount of water into the cistern to check the operation of the toilet flushing mechanism. Furniture, joinery and other things. Slats. Check all furniture slats for damage. The bed slats. Check that the bed slats under the centre console of the caravan retract, aren't broken and stow again easily. Folding table. Is there a folding table present in this caravan? If so, what is its condition? Operation of doors and knobs. Do all internal door knobs work? Do they latch the doors securely for transport? Do any catches on the kitchen drawers hold the drawers securely? Do all windows open and close freely, and can they be held by the window stays? Roof vent or skylight. Do they open easily? Can they be held up in the upright position, and do they close easily? Kitchen sink, worktop and other areas. Check for damage, particularly cracks around the plug hole. Inspect worktop for general wear and tear, damage, marks, chips, etc. Hot water tank. Get down on your hands and knees and feel around and underneath the hot water tank. Can you feel any kind of gritty white deposit when you bring your fingers back up and look at them? If so, this could be a sign that the water tank is corroded. For reference, our water tank when we bought this caravan was badly corroded and the water was weeping out through the tank. It was one of the more expensive repairs in this caravan, as although I handled the removal and refitting myself, I had to send it off to a specialist repairer. Okay, damp testing the caravan. Before we do anything with this, we're going to go through those areas of the caravan that are quite susceptible to damp. These areas are behind the toilet, in upper cupboards where the roof meets the wall in the inside locker, in the lower storage areas where the wall meets the floor, around the windows, all internal seam joins, in areas where water pipe work exits and enters the caravan. For all of these areas, firstly use your fingers and your hands to push and press against those areas. What you're feeling for is any softness or change in density of the material being pressed. Only where you suspect that damp or water ingress may have occurred should you then use your damp meter. The reason being is that damp meters have prongs on the end of them. and every time you use them, you're going to leave small pinprick-like holes around the caravan. So firstly, you want to gain the consent of the seller to use one of these so that we don't upset them. On the screen of the damp meter, it'll give you a damp reading as a percentage. Ideally, you'd like a result lower than 20%. Any reading over 20%, but less than 30%, is one that you should just monitor. Any reading over 30% or 40% suggests that there's a serious problem with water ingress in that area. Okay, so you've done your inspections and you're quite keen on this caravan. However, before you decide to part with any large sum of money, it might be worth doing a CRIS check. The Central Registration and Identification Scheme provides caravan owners with a proof of ownership of their caravans, amongst other things. For possible buyers, the CRIS database provides a useful place to find out more information about a caravan you are interested in purchasing, particularly if you are going to be potentially parting with a considerable sum of money. Undertaking a CRIS check is inexpensive and quick. It only costs around £15 and can even be done from your smartphone. Whilst it's highly unusual to find a newer caravan that's not registered with CRIS, don't expect old ones to be registered or even to have their registration details up to date. However, be aware that if you unwittingly buy a stolen caravan or a caravan that is still under finance, it is not legally yours, and it can be taken from you, and it will become your responsibility to recoup your costs from the seller. So, questions to ask. What is the CRIS registration number of this caravan? Does it match the ones on the windows? Does the same CRIS number appear on every window in the caravan? Has this caravan ever been reported as stolen? Does this caravan have any outstanding finance on it? Has this caravan ever been written off by an insurance company? Who is the registered keeper according to CRIS? Are you able to provide me with some ID? Will I receive the CRIS registration document upon transfer of funds? Guys, it's crucial if you're buying a caravan from a private seller that their details match up to what's on the CRIS database. If they don't, then alarm bells should be sounding. Okay, that's about it. The only thing left for you to do is, if you like the caravan, is to agree a purchase price and arrange transfer of funds. On the last page of the document, I've got a few top tips and tricks about how to transact the sale and how to make those payments. But that's about it from me. If you want this document, it's available from my Dropbox and the link for it is down below. Any feedback I get in the comments, I will feed back into the document and I will update it as we go. So you may find, depending on when you download this document, that there may have been changes different to what's been in the video today. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I hope you found it useful. Please let me know what you think in the comments and basically enjoy getting your new caravan.